Hello and welcome. In this video, what I'd like to do is go through an exercise that explores the quality of line that you can make with pencil and some shading ideas. So in your own sketchbook, and this is an A4 sketchbook, I would suggest setting up a template such as this. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it can have similar kind of squares or rectangles with little notes on them as to what you're going to be doing. You're going to need a 2B pencil, a rubber or eraser, and some sort of blending tool, or even a cotton bud would do. So I've got a blending tool here, and I've got an eraser that's in a sort of pencil. I've got a couple of 2B pencils all ready to use. So let's get going. Now the first box is what I call straight lines, and I just want you to draw some straight lines across using an even pressure across the page. So nothing too complicated, just using the pencil in an even manner, which would be very much how most people approach doing drawing or writing, is just drawing nice straight lines. Really simple. Good. Our 2B pencil has a little bit of a softness to it. Now I'm also going to look here at sort of broken lines, and this is where we sort of press lighter, darker, and break the lines up a little bit. So I'm going to start light, press a bit harder, maybe go off entirely, and then can carry on. I'm going to do it again, press a little harder, lighter, and tail off. So I'm creating a just different quality of line, and I'm just playing. This is a chance to just be free with your drawing. Sometimes I change the angle of the pencil slightly to be slightly more upright, and the sharper pencil here will help you. So it's just playing with pressing down a little bit, breaking up, just creating just an interesting line. Hatching is creating several lines next to each other, just like so. And I'm not very good at staying in the box, but if you want to, please do. I'm also going relatively quickly so you can see what we're aiming to do without having to spend the time watching a very long video. After our hatching is our cross hatching, and hopefully these will now be familiar with you after watching the previous video explaining. And I'm just going to cross this over. Great, fantastic. In this one, I'm just going to start using the edge of the pencil. And this has got quite a nice big long lead to it, so I actually am only going to do sort of 2 passes of the pencil across. In my stippling or my dots, I'm just going to do little dots across the page, and some of these end up being a little harder than others. Some of them are closer together. And I'm just practicing using the pencil in a different way. This exercise is very valuable at learning to work with graphite and pencil, because there's so many ways we can use it, and this will provide you with a great toolkit for when you start to interpret actual things and start drawing and working with it. If you know different ways of using a pencil to create texture, shade, light and dark, it's going to be incredibly helpful when you start to draw an actual thing, an actual object. After our stippling and dots, let's have a little look at making some tiny little circles. And these aren't particularly even. I'm not doing precise circles. Some of them I don't even finish the circle off. This is a textural, gestural, expressionistic mark. It's a way of just creating the effect of some kind of tone, almost like a dotty, bubbly kind of surface. So just using little scribbles, little circles to just fill the space with a bit of texture. And again, I'm fairly sort of loose and quick as I do this. It's just to sort of demonstrate to you the way that we can interpret and work here. Scribbling, quite a light hold I'm going to have, and I'm just going to kind of scribble a little bit. I'm going to sort of change directions. I'm going to go a little bit darker over here, a little lighter over here, and this is just a way of getting a little bit more expressive and gestural in the marks. That's my scribbling. Now for this one up here, the rubber, the eraser, I'm going to create a background with my 2B pencil, and I'm sort of using the side of the pencil here so that I'm filling it in with an even tone. There we go, so it's a nice even tone. And then I'm just going to use the rubber here to create some lines or some marks, and I'm just going to rub some lines so that they're easy to see basically throughout this. So a few lines there and a few lines there, and I'm not worrying too much about the finished result. I'm just playing with these particular tools. Good. Now in the smudging box, I'd like you to use any of these previous shading techniques. So I'm going to do a little bit of scribbling in here. I'm going to do a few little circle thingies, circly marks, and then a few dots as well. So I'm just using a few of the different techniques. I'm not drawing a particular thing. I'm just having a little play using the pencil. Good. And these scribbles I might make a bit darker over here. There we go. Lovely. And then I'm going to take my smudging tool and just start to smudge this together. I'm actually going to use circular movements here, but you can use across, doesn't matter. And again, I'm just playing. So this area here ends up being sort of dark and smooth. This has got a bit of texture. It's a sort of medium. I tend to think if I'm using little circles in the pencil, I'll use little circles with my movement. If I'm scribbling, I'll scribble with this. So it kind of reflects and blends in. So that's a little bit of smudging, and again you can play with this. You could even do more of these boxes, so you could almost do several of these and start to smudge. Now I also want to look at doing some heavy marks, so actually pressing a little bit harder with the pencil, so just kind of creating some heavy marks and then just some really light marks. What marks can you make that are really light with the pencil? So you can see we can get such different quality of line and tone and texture. This is a thin, fine line, almost as if I was using a sort of 4H or a 6H pencil, and this is dark as if I was using a much softer 6B pencil, for example. So, and this just gives me a lovely range, a way of working. So I would do this yourself. Create some boxes on your piece of paper. You can create more if you wish to and play with a little bit more smudging. And just have a go at using the pencil in different ways, creating different qualities of line, such as these ones, and then different qualities of tone or shading using these types of exercises. And of course, this is a starting point. This is a sort of way of getting started. You can create more different patterns, textures, tones, and work from there. So have some fun with this exercise, and I will see you shortly. Thank you very much.